Do you have guitar acquisition syndrome? I touched on this kind of jokingly on my last video when I was talking about the Harley Benton bass behind me there that I just bought not long after buying a Harley Benton semi-hollow body electric guitar recently. So I kind of made a joke in the heading of that. It's giving me gas, guitar acquisition syndrome, and I just thought I'd do a quick video today about that because I've got kind of more guitars now myself than I've had for a long time. When I was playing live and doing a lot of recording with my partner and I's band, I had one main guitar really, which was my Gibson Les Paul, which is about 20 something years old, and with my Marshall amp and a few effects, that just gave me everything I needed for what we were doing at that time. But we also had an acoustic guitar, so I had that and an acoustic guitar, and I also had my trusty Fender Stratocaster, which again I've had for a couple of decades and more. Never really used that an awful lot live because after getting a lot of equipment stolen years ago, I just couldn't get the sound I wanted out of it for a long time. And then when I recently got some new effects, that kind of got me back into that guitar. So I've had those guitars for a very long time and an acoustic guitar, and that was kind of what we needed. We had a bass guitar, my partner's old Honer 5-string bass guitar, and since we stopped being a kind of live band and just were doing mainly recording, that was all we really needed. Keyboards, but guitar wise, that was kind of it. So as things changed, I decided I needed another acoustic guitar because I had heard about this Nashville high string tuning where you replace half of the strings with 12-string, the octave strings from a 12-string set. So you get this, you have to restring the guitar and it has to stay that way for that tuning. So instead of having to continually, anytime you want to have that tuning, change the strings on your acoustic guitar, it just made sense to buy one. So I bought a little Yamaha guitar and that's been strung like that, and I added a pickup to that, so that's 2 acoustic guitars and 2 electric guitars and 1 bass. So then we decided, I don't really play bass, I play bass occasionally, and my partner is a really pretty good bass player, but the Honer thing being 5-string, I just couldn't get to grips with it at all, so I couldn't really use it when I wanted to, and it also had a couple of little problems. So we sold that, it being sort of semi-vintage, got good money for it, and a little bit later replaced it with it's like a Squier Precision bass, Fender copy, and it's okay, but it's got quite a high action. So that was okay for quite a long time, and then I've always had this notion for a lap steel guitar. So, and I've got slides and stuff, and I play a little bit of slide on the guitar. I always just wanted the lap steel thing, so I bought one at Christmas time. Someone who had, during COVID, during the lockdown, had suffered from guitar acquisition syndrome, and they were selling this on eBay because they had bought too many guitars during lockdown. So that was my luck really. I got that for a really good price, and I've been playing it a little bit. I need to get really into it, but I've added it to a couple of tunes that we're working on, so that was great. So that filled a gap, and then I kind of decided I wanted a semi-hollow bodied guitar, Gibson 335 style of thing, which I've done a review on, and ended up, after watching lots and lots of reviews, very favourable reviews, bought a Harley Benton, one of those. Which, as I've said in the reviews, I absolutely love. It's fantastic, and it fills a gap because it makes a kind of sound that the Les Paul and the Strat and the acoustics don't. Yeah, so that's my reason for buying that, along with the price and the fact that it's fantastic. So it's given me a whole new kind of palette of sounds, which suits the kind of music my partner and I find ourselves making now. A little bit mellower than what we did back in our day. So with finding that guitar at that price point was so good, I thought, well, maybe we could replace the bass. So I looked at reviews for Harley Benton basses, and that led me very quickly, given my experience with the guitar, to buying that bass. So that's what we now have. We have 2 bass guitars, 2 acoustic guitars, one with a different set of strings, 3 electric guitars and a pedal steel. And I think I've got room in my collection for one more, and that is a Telecaster kind of sound. Used to have one, got stolen. I kind of always missed it, but it never really, nothing I was doing musically kind of cried out for that. But it sort of might be now. And given that, again, Harley Benton, that was the joke I made about it giving me guitar acquisition syndrome, because they're so affordable. You know, you could have 3 guitars and a bass for about the same money you might pay for, you know, a Strat or a Les Paul, and a bottom of the range one at that. So I might add a Telecaster to the range, but I think for me that'll be it. And there is, as I've tried to explain, for me, thinking behind all that. It's not just because I see them and I think, oh, that's gorgeous, I need to have that. Don't have a Fender Jaguar, must have one of them. You know, don't have a Vox guitar, must have one of them. I don't have that kind of acquisition thing. I know people that do have. I know people who have 20 or 30 guitars, and I'm not actually sure how often they play many of them. I'm going to have to ask them next time I see them, just out of interest. But that was just, wanted to do a little video about that, and I'd really be interested in your comments about if you have GAS. And if so, to what extent, and what's your kind of reasoning behind it? I'd just it'd be nice to have a little conversation about that. There's no rights and there's no wrongs. Also, I don't have an awful lot of space, which is probably an issue for people. We've got this little studio, and you know, we've got the rest of the house, but we don't really want that filled with guitars. We want to actually have this little room where we actually do our music, rather than, you know, moving stuff in and out of living rooms and bedrooms and all that. So we've got this little room. And the guitars are, you know, I could fit one more in this room, maybe 2. But, you know, that's it for me. So if you liked the video, let me know in the comments. Tell me, you know, about your own collection of guitars and why you've got them. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and, you know, you'll get notification when I've got new videos coming out. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. It's been Dave at Creative Guitar Lines. Cheers for now.